Smuggler's Surprise has got to be one of my favorite cards that they've printed in recent memory, and some of the nonsense you can get away with it is just delightful. It also kind of matches a reanimator kind of play pattern where you're cheating in gigantic monsters, except in this case, you're cheating them out of your hand, so it dodges graveyard hate completely. That said, it is very soft to hand disruption, so we just kind of got to work with that. But it's just delightful. If you're not familiar with Smuggler's Surprise, it is an instant. That's the other thing. It's an instant that for 6 mana, you can actually take 2 creatures in your hand and put them on the battlefield. If you have 8 mana or even 9, you get some added bonuses that can help kind of refill your hand. Incidentally enough, through some graveyard manipulation, you actually get the mill and then get to draw stuff. But as a result, too, even if you have to cast it with for 3 mana just to restock your hand, that's fine. That's already often good enough. The other thing that's just truly amazing about it is the fact that it is instant speed. Being able to do it on your opponent's end step right before you untap can be backbreaking. If you tap 6 mana to play out Smuggler's Surprise on your opponent's end step, perfect situation, they have a counterspell. Well, they just used a counterspell and a decent portion of their mana right before you untap. So if you untap with access to 6 mana, you could just windmill slam an Overlord of the Boilerbilges, or if you have 7, Vaultborn Tyrant, Sire of Seven Deaths, whatever the big sexy bomb is, you could just get those onto the field on your turn, and then, you know, your potential control opponent has to dance with that too. So it's delightful. Foundations gave us some new tools for this deck. So we do have, as I mentioned, the Sire of Seven Deaths. Honestly, I'm trying to get a feel for if this card is particularly good or not, because if it's a huge stack of stats and those keywords are genuinely disgusting. Like, this thing does not lose combat, and if it survives, you're golden, but it has to survive. So we're going to give it a shot. We're going to test it out. We also, of course, have 4 Vaultborn Tyrants. If you're doing Smuggler's Surprise, this card's like best in class. It's so good. Restocks your hand, gains you life. It even dies into another copy of itself and another ETB trigger. It's kind of bonkers. Yeah, then we have Overlords, Overlord of the Hauntwoods, as well as Boilerbilges. They give us a ton of value and can even be some of our, you know, less expensive spells that give us a little bit of inevitability against control. You'll notice that I'm talking a lot about the control matchup in this. I don't know if this is my own personal bias or what, but when I've played Smuggler Surprise builds, I find the Azorius control players who just aren't on the ladder when I'm playing anything else. For some reason, I go up against them often. So we're going to play a couple of games here, and we'll see if that holds true now that the cameras are rolling, or maybe my foot will be just firmly in my mouth, but so be it. Yeah, I think this will be fun. It's Smuggler Surprise, just doing the thing. Oh, also Outcaster Trailblazer. Outcaster Trailblazer was already a key element of these decks. It was already a very important part of what this deck is doing, because it's a card draw engine that can also ramp you from 5 to 6 if you plot it early. Previously, plotting this on 3 was already good enough. Llanowar Elves gives us the opportunity to plot this on 2, which is just this side of disgusting. If we can actually get this plotted on turn 2, cast it out on turn 3 with all of our mana open, the opportunity for this deck to pop off super fast, like way faster than it has any reason to, is definitely real. So if we get the nut draw, we're going to get there, and it's going to be pretty great. Charming Scoundrel, I'm almost always picking the treasure mode because we just need the ramp. And then we also have 4 Torch the Tower. In the sideboard, we have more early interaction, but for best of 1 purposes, we need to be able to kill the early threats. If a Mosswood Dread Knight or you know, a Heartfire Hero or something like that goes unchecked in the early game, we're just going to be dead well before we can set up. And so given that that is going to be the biggest weakness, or kind of the Achilles heel of this deck, I wanted to make sure our main deck had, you know, with kind of hyper-correcting, if anything, to make sure that we could answer those early threats, because they're out there. They're all over. And if our opponent doesn't end up running early threats, you know, as we go into game 2 and 3, we can slot them out. That's fine. You also notice in our sideboard, we have Darksteel Colossus, and actually, I know my camera is currently blocking it, but we also have Push-Pull. Now, that might look a little awkward here, right? Because we're in Gruul. We literally cannot cast Push. We don't have white mana nor black mana, except for the treasure tokens or the everywhere token land. But in general, that's here for the late game kind of grindy matchups, or if we're going up against a discard deck. The idea that our big creatures are going to find their way into our graveyard naturally throughout the course of the game, and if we just need some more punching power late in the game, being able to reanimate 2 of these creatures simultaneously could be, with haste no less, could be absolutely disgusting. Could you imagine 2 Ghaltas flying at you? That seems pretty good. So that's the idea behind that. I promise it was intentional, believe it or not. And the Darksteel Colossus looks a little bit weird, but there are decks out there right now that are running Jace the Perfected Mind as their primary win condition. And given that, I thought having something in our sideboard that can shuffle itself back in, not quite full on Eldrazi style, but close enough. The fact that it stays in our deck means that, you know, the mill decks are gonna have a tough time dealing with that. Unless, of course, the Doomsday Excruciator hits all of our copies of Darksteel Colossus. That's a thing. If that happens, well, dang. But and the other reason, the other thing is, it's a literal 11 drop that we can cheat in off of the Smuggler Surprise. So it lines up, it fits this deck particularly well. All right. So let's jump out there. We're going to do some best of one games for the sake of the, just for runtime purposes here on YouTube. But if you want to see this deck and more like it in action, you can check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/hamhogs42. I'm over there Monday through Friday. I hope to see you there. And yeah, let's get into some gameplay and let's see what happens. We have the Llanowar Elves on 1. But with this current hand, we don't have Overlord on 2. I am going to keep this with the understanding that this is risky. We're going to go Karplusan Forest into a Llanowar Elves. I'm hoping we top deck an untapped land. If not, we're just going to have the Torch the Tower back and kind of hope for the best. There's also a high likelihood that this gets cut down. No, not this time. Okay. So T-Bones is going to join up. I'm going to discard the Sire of Seven Deaths, and I don't feel good about it, if I'm completely honest. Hey, there we go. Untapped land. Excellent. Time for an Overlord. The reason that I didn't want to lose the Torch the Tower is I assume they're running Deep Cavern Bats just because it's a black deck with Hand Hate in it. And I want to make sure that they have to take the Torch the Tower. If they're going to take anything, it's got to be that. Now, with Mono Black, though, there are so many different ways to build it. I mean, who knows what we're going to see? Is it going to be primarily removal? What kind of threats are they going to be working with? It's tough to tell. So, we will see. Man, I want to keep this so badly. So badly. But if I don't hit another land drop, that is not going to matter. If anything, actually, I probably should have kept it there and just smuggled on 3, but our Smuggler Surprise is our main, it's our main win con. It's really important that we make that work. All right, Forsaken Miner, excellent. And T-Bones, the picker of pockets. All right. Ooh, and we are not going to be milling. That is interesting. So at this point, we have an opportunity to exile the Forsaken Miner, which is very tempting. But I gotta be honest, I mean, my graveyard is really expensive, but they could take my Llanowar Elves. I don't like that. But you know what? I'm just gonna aim at the Miner first. We have a clean shot to rid us of the Miner forever. I think I want to take that. Yeah, we need to find some lands here. T-Bone's joining up. Okay, great. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Want more of it, in fact. Yep. So this deck getting absolutely... Yeah, Hand Hate is no me gusta for what we're doing here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and keep that on top with the understanding that I'm probably gonna end up Smuggler Surprising here on 3, and I'm way not happy about it. Although actually, if we have to discard the Smuggler Surprise, I should probably just let it go because we can hard cast Overlord next turn. Caravac. Okay. All right. Yep. Well, so if we hit this, yeah, we're probably going to end up with, I don't know that it really matters. It's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of another here. Because if we do the mill 2, I grab up the Overlord of the Hauntwoods and a creature, and a land. So I guess we just let it go. Oh, but then we also mill it. I'm an idiot. Don't mind me, everybody. This trigger stacking on Tiny Bones joins up is problematic for sure. But here we are. Fun fact, everyone. Caravac does require, or Tiny Bones does require you to pay the mana for your stuff. You don't just, they don't just hand you freebies. That's not a thing. That has never been a thing. It will never be a thing. The number of times that I've seen people think that they can just free cast stuff off Tiny Bones, like clearly played around it. It's like, nah, that's not how that works, dog. I appreciate the thought, and that would be dope, but that would not be a 1-drop. That would be like a 5-drop. Anyway, sorry. That said, I mean, my graveyard is pretty sexy, so a lot can come of it. Like that. Yeah. That is a really clean 4-drop that I really wish I had drawn. All right, groovy. So we have the Outcaster Trailblazer. We need to top deck a threat that costs 6 or less. If we don't have that, it's worth nothing. Thank you for telling me what you're interested in, though. I mean, just window shopping in my graveyard. I can appreciate that. You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this real quick. See what we see. Honestly, not that much. Can't say I'm super surprised, but here we are. All right, gonna do this. Gonna rock this. Gonna make a red here. Gonna throw down the Scoundrel. And we're gonna discard a card, then draw a card, which really just means draw a card. So there's a really good chance that I'm gonna end up discarding this Trailblazer. Oh yeah, right here. Just T-bones. Yep. Take it away. Treat yourself. Have fun. You deserve it, opponent. Okay. So I'm definitely gonna tag T-bones here, and I'm gonna take the 3. Mostly just because at this point I'm feeling like I need a card draw engine. If I had drawn into a big monster there and we were able to play it, I would have drawn a card off the Trailblazer, and that could have maybe given me some juice. At this point, if Karavak attacks again, I'm just gonna have to take the trade. It sucks, but here we are. Yeah. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have seen 2 Smuggler surprises so far, so the chance of drawing another one, not amazing. And of course, they found T-bones. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah. Our draws have not gone well for us. Yeah, and this, go for the throat, taking out the Trailblazer. I'm not sure there's anything that I've got left that is going to help me here. Because they've got 6 damage lined up. And just a big ol' engine. Thank you for getting the land out of the way. I appreciate that. So yeah, it's going to put me down to 2, or no, 4 rather. Well, that was the best thing I could have possibly drawn. Like, without question, without fail. Here we go. All right. So that helps. It's still only one thing, but it does help. Honestly, opponent, if you could hit that with a go for the throat or something, you'd be doing me such a favor. You don't even know. Because if I can get that thing to trigger, ooh, baby, baby. All right, we are not out of this yet. Sometimes you just got to hang on. The chances of us, I mean, our opponent still has a dramatic advantage here because I only have 1 blocker. It's a good blocker, but it's only 1 blocker. I'm going to block the most damage. So this is 5 damage coming through. Yep. Let's see what happens here. Down to 2. Now they can go grab something out of my yard if they so choose. Which, I mean, they have 5 mana available. They should. I'm thinking the best thing in there, we definitely, I mean, we have the Trailblazer. You really can't go wrong. Oh, they can, yeah, they can impend the Overlord of the Boilerbilges. Very nice. GG's. Yep. Dang. Target the Tyrant. Come on, target the Tyrant. No, okay. I love seeing the Torch the Tower in the opener. And we have 3 lands, which is critical for us. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to get up to, like, 6, right? Now, the fact that these don't produce green by themselves is a little bit of a problem. But we have other forests and mountains and whatnot. It'll be fine. We still have Torch the Tower available. And Karplusan Forest will be down by the time we need green anyway. So, it's going to be all right. Speaking of which, let's just rock that out. And it's time for us to be charming. Treasure time. Punch to the face. All right. And so next turn we can plot the Outcaster. Or we can, well, no, yeah, we can plot the Outcaster. We could also impend the Overlord, but right now, unless we find Haughty Gen, sure. Cool. Like, they've already just created so much value. I'm worried about my chances of being able to stand up to that. And now they have untapped blue. So, yeah, this Oculus deck is just so damn fast. I mean, that's a turn 2 Haughty Djinn. I say Oculus because Abhorrent Oculus is the other key element of that deck. And so now all their spells cost 1 less. So in this case, many of them are going to cost 1. So Recommission, Moment of Truth, all that jazz is like practically free. Their graveyard's going to get absolutely swole. And I don't believe I've got an out. My only hope here is that they play so much to the board and that we draw a land. Because, yeah, if they keep counterspells open, if they have a Phantom Interference or something, we are just so dead, it's not even funny. The sheer volume of dead we are, oh, baby, there are no words to describe just how dead we can be. Oh, man. Let me tell you what. But, okay, so the Trailblazer is going to come down. It's immediately going to get lost. Immediately. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. So we're going to then create a green. Rock out an Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Take one from that. Do this thing. And then high to the Yaz. Alright, so at this point we have 5 lands, 6 off the treasure. We're 1 mana away from being able to just cast one of our Vaultborn Tyrants. But you'll notice the operative word there, 1. It's only 1. Right now, that Haughty Djinn easily has us on our two-turn clock, and I'm pretty confident there is nothing I can do to respond to it. So we need to find, we need to find a Smuggler Surprise off the top, and I need to gain a crap ton of life at a time when they don't expect it. Like, that's our best bet. So I need to be a little more positive. I need to stop poo-pooing myself and give the deck a shot. Because if we do, in fact, top deck the Smuggler Surprise, dropping both of these would draw us 4 cards and gain us, a lot. It's a lot of life. I don't know. 12, I think? Yeah. So, and our opponent also has been ripping those get losts. Like, there was no reason for them to get the Trailblazer lost immediately without seeing my follow-up. Because I was going to cast something else afterwards, but they immediately ripped it before seeing what that was. And that was a choice. Yeah, so this being a tapped land, that's no bueno. Floodmont, yep. You might as well, sure. Man, good old Boilerbilges. You're late to the party, bruh. But you're exactly what I needed. Alas. All right, here we go. We've got elves in the opener and the torches. This is good if we're going up against a very aggressive deck. If not, the sand is going to be truly abysmal. In a lot of the games that I've been recording today, not all of them are going to make the final video because, candidly, at this point, I've recorded about 5 or 6, and all of them have been abysmal failures where my deck has not done the thing. So, and it's been primarily against black-based decks, which apparently is a bad matchup. Who knew? So during the deck tech, I was making a comment about how I've been going up against Azorius decks so much with this, and now I'm just not finding them at all. So that's unfortunate. Because against the Azorius decks, those decks give us time. That's what we need. All right, so this person played out the swamp, but then let us untap into a turn 2 Overlord of the Hauntwoods. That's awesome. So this next turn, if our Llanowar Elves survive, which is a tall order, okay, tight. And we have 2 torches, so I was about to say we could impend the Overlord here, which is cool by me. But yeah, no matter what they take, okay, here we go. So this is actually lined up pretty well. So they're gonna take one of the torches, naturally. I'm gonna go ahead and... Do we just torch the bat? I feel like that's the play, but I could be wrong. So you know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to throw the Charming Scoundrel. We're going to make a treasure. Now, I was also very tempted to discard this Vaultborn Tyrant and go digging for another land. Because land here is more valuable than treasure by a lot. Because with hitting your land drops, they give you mana for the rest of the game, not just one time. And that's a big deal. Okay, fresh bat. Sure. I'm going to go ahead and torch that bat. Get my torch back. Now, I'm tempted to spend the treasure to torch this bed, but you know what? I'm going to let them take something, because the Overlord of the Boilerbilges can also blast the bat. So that's fine by me, frankly. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just impend this dog, this big unit, and blast the bat. Doink. Now that is 4 damage. That went to killing a 1/1, which, you know, that's not a great rate. But I think it's going to be okay. We also have 4, 5, 6. We're 1 away from playing out the Tyrant. So if we could get a land, that'd be great. But we also have the torches. Well, we have the torch in hand. They're about to play a Sheoldred, because that's just what you do. No, actually, Bloodletter. Okay. Big Zots in the house. Excellent. Cool. There's our land. And here is a Vaultborn Tyrant. Let's go. Now, Bloodletter of Akhlazotz is a very powerful card. It is genuinely excellent, very good at what it does. What it does, though, is combo with cards like Rush of Dread and Unstoppable Slasher. If they have the Rush of the Dread, I'm just dead and there's nothing I can do. If not, then there's a decent chance we'll be able to outvalue him here. So, I'm gonna go ahead and rock out this Overlord of the Boilerbilges. I'm gonna deal 4 damage to that Bloodletter. And we're going to gain 3 life and draw in the way of the cards. All right, cool. So our board is now looking absolutely fabulous. They have the Bloodletter. Again, if they have a Rush of Dread here, I'm dead. If not, I think we got them. All right. So, yeah, they're going heavy on the bats, and I kind of came ready for those. So I'm grateful. So I started this game by explaining how black has kind of had my number all day, but you know, this one, this time it's been turning out okay. These Bloodletters are punching something fierce. Like this hurts real bad. Hitting me for 2 and then doming me for 6 after the fact. Like, that's no joke. But yeah, we were just gonna punch for an obscene amount there. All right, let's go. Still no Smuggler surprise, but we at least won the game. Our opponent's name is Hitboxes. Do you think they enjoy fighting games? I'm thinking there's a good chance of that. This looks like a keep to me. We got the 3 lands, and we're going to lead off with a Surveil land to make sure that they just keep coming. That's one of those things. In this deck, with those Surveils, if it's a land, you keep it 100% of the time. There is no chance that we are going to feel like we have too many lands. That just does not happen here. All right. Ooh, another Smuggler surprise. That's delightful. Okay, so we're a little bit more kind of duress-proof, which is good. The Unstoppable Slasher. Okay. And I also think I'm going to rip this one for 3, just to make sure that the land drops just keep coming. Fed to the rules, and, wait, didn't make sense? I don't know. Trying to make a Smash Mouth joke. Failing miserably. Don't worry about it. So, gonna go ahead and boil some Bilges, because that Unstoppable Slasher presents a phenomenal issue for us that I don't want to deal with. I just don't. You can't make me. Because if they follow that up with the Bloodletter of Akhlazotz, we have a huge problem. Huge problem. And I don't feel like dealing with huge problems right now. I would rather not. All right, cool. Now, the Torch of the Tower, also, we can bargain away this Overlord of the Boilerbilges. Yeah. To exile this Unstoppable Slasher forever. Easily worth it, because if the Slasher hits you, if the Slasher strikes with the Bloodletter down, that is GG's. And I don't feel like dealing with some G's. Not today. All right. So we actually have 7 mana open here. I'm going to have a really good next turn. A really good next turn. I'm excited. So the Unstoppable Slasher is representing what appears to be a lethal attack, right? They're probably going to try to force me into a chump situation with my Llanowar Elves. Fortunately for me, sacrifice a non-token creature. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to do this right now. I'm just going to cut the crap, do the thing. Whoop, whoop. Going to just drop them. Now, we're going to gain some life. We're going to draw some cards. Now, I could sacrifice this Vaultborn Tyrant to satisfy the Sheoldred's Edict, and then a new artifact token will come back. The problem with that is that artifact token that comes back, it draws us more cards, does more things, but it will not be hexproof and indestructible. So I am going to let the Llanowar Elves go. If they have another piece of removal, because right now, because we chose the 1-mana spree mode on that Smuggler Surprise, these guys are indestructible and hexproof because they're big. So they literally can't target my dudes. They will need another Sheoldred's Edict to deal with these guys, and if they do that, I sacrifice the Vaultborn Tyrant and don't stress it. But yeah, they're in a situation here where they can't attack all of a sudden, and that's cash money. I love that. All right. Cash money. I said it. All right, so now we have, of course, the age-old question of who is the beatdown. And I think that turn kind of changes things. Now, originally I was hoping to do that after they declared attackers. You could make a solid argument that I still should have, because then I would have been able to block the Bloodletter and the Slasher. The thing about that is they wouldn't have been hexproof. Yeah, the hexproof mode wouldn't have happened. So, okay, they're going to Bitter Triumph this dude. So homie comes back, does the thing. I then get to swing with a big ol' Sire. And it has first strike, so if the Slasher blocks it, the Sire just wins and the Slasher dies. It comes right back the way that it does, but still. Boosh. And then, good news, everyone. We have another Sire of Seven Deaths. Let's go! All right. So, Sire of Seven Deaths, just a big unit. Just a big ol' unit. Here to do the thing. Hey, nowhere to run in this match actually looks really fantastic. Cutting off the ward for these guys is a big deal. That's a huge deal. The problem is, even reducing it by 3, it's still a 4/4 first striker with all the things. So, it's still really good. And if you're going to go down like 2 cards in order to kill one of these guys, you know, bad news, it's not going to be enough to get through. All right, opponent. So what is next? Bitter Triumph on the big one. Yep. And they still can't reasonably swing here because I mean, the Tyrant can trade with the Slasher. The Slasher will come back, but this Sire of Seven Deaths still eats that Bloodletter. Like, it still just kills it. Tight. Ooh, I like this. Actually, I like that a whole lot because check this out. Overlord of the Hauntwoods drops. It's coming in as a creature, so it triggers Tyrant. We get to do another one of those. I'm going to go ahead and bargain, and I'm going to sacrifice a token. It's going to be the land that the Overlord just made to eat the Unstoppable Slasher, and we get another one of those coming. Don't mind if I do. Cool. That's going to be 13 on the dot. They have to block something, or they dead, son. And we have Trample and Menace and whatnot. So, yeah. Hooray! I see Llanowar Elves, Torch the Tower, 3 lands, Outcaster. This all looks amazing. We have exactly the early game hand that we want. Not to mention we have the Smugglers just chilling there. So, you know, if they hit us with a turn 1 duress or something, it might hurt. But anything short of that, we are golden. I'm gonna live risky, and I'm gonna let the Torch the Tower go. That is very risky, but I'm going to just try to line this up so we can get max value across a number of other, trying to tee up the Smuggler Surprise. Invasion of Azgal. So I have to sack the Llanowar Elves. Okay. Definitely unfortunate, but there's also not that much I can do about it other than be sad. I can definitely be sad. Boy, howdy can I be sad. All right. I mean, I was going to do that anyway. So yeah, the Trailblazer's here. We're not in a good spot. Vadimir, okay. So they're gonna mill me, and Vad's gonna do his thing. Sure. Not ideal, but what can you do? I can cry about it. Which you better believe I was gonna do. So yeah, I think it's time to just rock Bilges to eat Vad. I have not seen Vadimir that often these days. That card seems to have fallen out of favor for some reason. Probably because the dedicated crime deck just hasn't really been that much of a thing as of late. I don't know. Marchesa. Ooh, and they are They are in on crimes, baby. They are all about it. And Tiny Bones joins up as a little crime factory for 1 mana, so yeah, those two together do good work. All right. Well, gonna go ahead and drop this. Make a treasure. So now this is 5, 6, and we can make 7 off the Trailblazer. If we hit our land next turn, we're golden. Actually, I think it's probably in my best interest to Smuggler Surprise for 3 and just go fill my hand. Jasper. I do not love that. The reason that I should probably do that is because the Trailblazer will give me an opportunity to cast basically anything we find, and that'll almost guarantee that we actually hit our land drop, so it's probably worth it. All right. Yeah, Tyrant would have been real good. Would have been real good. Alrighty, Roo. Ooh. And they're good? Yeah, I'm gonna play it safe, be responsible, go for the value play. Oh. And I get to watch as 2 more Smuggler Surprises just go to the bin. Definitely a bummer. However, I do get to do this. Jasper is a phenomenally powerful card in that deck, as is Marchesa, to be sure. But Jasper is more the immediate concern, because my deck is full of incredible bombs, and I don't want this opponent getting access to them. You know, if their deck is all like counter spells, kill spells, and crime payoffs, if I give them access to like 6 drops and 7 drops that can end me, it's going to be done. I'm going to be over real quick. And that doesn't sound like fun. I'd rather live for a minute. Yeah, so they're going to throw out the Overlord. They have to. Otherwise, Marchesa and pretty much anything they drop for the remainder of this game is gone. Fortunately for me, I have another one. Man, they are all in on the crime payoffs. I gotta respect the commitment to the bit, you know? They're going for it. Good on you, homie. Good on you. All right. So I can simply cast this. It comes on down, draws us a card, generates a green. I'm then going to proceed to just cast this, which is going to draw us 2 cards, and generate a, you know, one of those little duders, which is pretty nice. All right, cool. So here's the question: do we swing here? Do we start swinging or not? I think I do. Not. Yeah, I'm just gonna block for now. My biggest concern is a sweeper like that. I was definitely gonna be more worried about a deadly cover-up than a malicious eclipse, but still, that did line up nicely. So my Trailblazers biting it. Unfortunate. That is definitely unfortunate. That said, I've got 2 Overlords that are locked and loaded, ready to go. Not to mention the Smuggler Surprise that is also locked and loaded, ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and send it. I'm gonna tag Marchesa, and if they want, they could block with T-Bones here. That is an option. Now, the Smuggler Surprise could give one of my dudes indestructible, so that's the thing. But nope, they're just going to take it. Okie doke. Cool. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 monies. Monies. 9 monies. Which means this gets to be the full lot. If they have a counterspell, now's a great time. It doesn't look like they do. Excellent. Sire of Seven Deaths and a Vaultborn Tyrant. We have 29 cards left in our deck. Yeah, it's a big old scoopsy potatoes. We did it! Woohoo! Thank you for making it to the end of the video. There's something about that Smuggler Surprise. And yes, I know I look like I'm trying to be Andrea Mengucci right now. I know I'm not that charming, but still, I think the scarf's a good look. What can I say? But yeah, so the Smuggler Surprise deck, I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you enjoyed this video as well. I think the deck is solid. There's something there. A Gruul Smuggler Surprise build is definitely viable right now in Standard, I think. And we have a lot of really cool tools. The Sire of Seven Deaths also, it feels like a win more card. But there were a couple of matches where it was win just enough, and that's exactly what we want. With the power level creeped the way it is, sometimes you need to win more in order to win at all. That doesn't actually work. How about this? our definition of win more probably needs to recalibrate to match the current power. There we go. That makes sense. But you know what else could use a little calibration? The list of patrons, if you're not in it. So thank you, patrons, for making this show and other shows like it on this channel possible. I really do appreciate it. Your generosity goes a long way. And dear viewer, if you would like to add your name to this list of folks, you can do so over at patreon.com/hamhocks42 for as little as $1 a month. Your name will be displayed here, and I'll thank you every show. So thank you, everybody, and thank you, patrons. Angry Jellyfish, Davey, Hal, Carl, Levi Gretton, Netsash, Big Mamu, and Vance. You freaking rock. Thank you for doing what you do. I appreciate you. And I'll catch you on the next one.